comments conversing with us. But for those of you that actually would like to come on screen, as long as you join, and if you're not familiar, here's School. This is our really fun platform where we're able to continue our discussions beyond this weekly live stream. It's over on the School platform. If you've not checked out School, it is really cool. And that rhymes. I wasn't trying to do that, but School is very cool. And it started a couple of years ago when an influencer I really like, who's been around a really long time, she started a community on School. And that was my first experience with it. And I'm like, wow, I really like this, because there's a variety of these types of platforms. I mean, everybody knows about Patreon. That's really popular. But there are more of these communities where you can have it private, you can make it free, you can charge a fee and make it a paid membership. There's a handful of these around, and School was fairly new a few years ago, but I quickly fell in love with it. I love how simple and easy it is to use, and we can put posts on here. I don't like to I don't put too many posts. Like, I don't want to, look, we're all so darn busy. I don't want to overload people. But it's a way for us to continue discussions. And like Barb did a post the other day, talking about some StreamYard stuff, which we are going to be talking about. So it's always nice having discussions with our community on here. So if you have not signed up, please be sure to do that. There's no charge. It's free. I'm not charging a fee. It's in the ticker here, but let me also put it on the screen for a moment. School.com/Madalyn Sklar. Come join us. It's always a nice way to just keep conversations going. And Barb, I always appreciate you putting posts in there from time to time and letting us know about things. I mean, that's the whole point, is for us to have community and help each other. It doesn't have to come all from me. Like, I love hearing from others. I'm always learning from all of y'all. So thank you.
I just want to add one little thing. I was looking for, I couldn't remember the name of the AI that takes your URL, your link, and makes it into slides. And I'm looking and I'm checking Google, and I'm like, duh. So I went to School. That sounds funny. I went to School. And there it was. And then I took like my last 3 Substack posts, and I created PDFs, and I created cards, PNG cards that can be used on social media.
Nice.
It was fantastic. And it took like 2 minutes. So pretty amazing. And I think it's free, isn't it? Gamma?
Yeah. So the Gamma, which we did several weeks back, we had a whole, if anybody missed it, just go to my Madalyn Sklar YouTube, watch the replay. That Gamma is really, really cool. Yeah, it's impressive.
Oh, thank you so much for mentioning that, because I thought she did too. And I thought, where did I see that? Where did
Gamma? It was Gamma AI, right?
Gamma AI. I'll have to do that, because I have the questions, then answers that I pulled from the StreamYard.
I'll pull up the website real quick. It's gamma.app is actual website. It's called Gamma. Let me show y'all, for those watching us right now that are not familiar with this, let me pull it up really quick so y'all could see. We did a whole session on this. It was something cool I came across, and we ended up talking about it for a long time, but because it's so interesting, and I showed some videos so people could see demos of it. We did, and I was demoing it a little bit, but it is really cool. You can try it for free. Hold on, let me pull it up. So yeah, you can create these presentations. And I know, Rachel, after I had done that session, you were playing around with it, and you got back to us the following week telling us about how great it was for what you were doing. And it's really impressive. I definitely encourage people to go try it out and see, because you can play with it for free.
Oh, wow. Doggone it.
Let me see if I still have that. Do I? Oh, here it is. Oh, I still have it in the banners here. Okay, there's the link. Try Gamma today. Go to bit.ly/try Gamma AI, and that'll take you right over to it. And also, if you use my bit.ly link that I have there on the screen, it will give you some additional credits. So when you try it for free, you get a little bit of an extension. It'll send you they do it with credits, and they start off giving you, I think, 600 credits, and it takes a while. Like, it's not something you burn through super fast. Like, it'll take a little time to go through it. And because I played around with it and did several presentation mock-ups, and I still had plenty of credits. But when you use my link, what they're going to do is automatically give you some additional 200 additional credits. So it's really cool. I really like this. You'll know I mentioned that I'm going to be doing a webinar soon. And so I'm definitely playing around with using that for the webinar. Let me pull that up really quick to show y'all. Now, I was planning to do, I know I talked about it we had quite the conversation about it last week. Let me tell you, we're going to talk about that. But I decided to push it back a couple of weeks. So because, and I'll explain. So if you weren't here last week, we were having a discussion, and it was through a custom GP I was using on ChatGPT, helping me work through some ideas and brainstorming of getting a new webinar together. And when it asked me, like, what would I like to call it? It said, like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Like, what should this be about? And I said, ChatGPT for Dummies. And I wasn't thinking about legal issues with that. I don't know why. And ChatGPT did not warn me. I was shocked. We had a whole conversation about it, and it loved my idea. So it helped me formulate it. And I was telling you all about it last week. I was showing it up on the screen like this. And Barb's like, you can't use for dummies. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. And then Rachel chimed in, and I'm like, oh, man. Why didn't ChatGPT warn me? But of course, when I went back to ChatGPT later and said, hey, aren't there legal issues with using, for dummies in the title? It's like, yeah, you really shouldn't do that. So just know when you're using AI tools, they're not always 100% perfect. So just always keep that in mind. But I really appreciate y'all, telling me, like, giving me some advice. So I renamed it. ChatGPT Made Easy. And what I realized when I was using that custom GP that I had talked about before, that I was using, that helped me brainstorm and come up with this, it's like a coach. It was like this AI coach that a friend of mine on Facebook had talked about creating this. And I talked about that a few weeks ago too, in more depth. And its purpose is, like, help you brainstorm, but also be your coach and, like, you can do it. Come on, And so it was telling me, all right, okay, you got the ideas. Let's schedule it. Let's do it when you want to do it. And I'm thinking, at first I was like, well, let's do it later this week. And I'm like, no, I can't. I don't know why I'm like that. So I'm like, how about we'll do it the following Friday? So I set the date, but this week I'm like, I'm just doing too many things right now. There's no way I'll be ready to do it this Friday, which would be tomorrow. So I'm like, you know what? I will just reschedule. It's okay to do that. It's okay to do. So I'm like, I'm just going to change it. I renamed it, and I'm going to do it 2 weeks from tomorrow. And I'm going to be using Gamma to help me work on the presentation. I'm just super excited. So there you go with that. Okay, so what I love to do here on this program is share things that I come across. We have a discussion about it. And I came across something super interesting the other day in a Facebook group. It says ChatGPT gets 157 million visits daily. Holy cow. Did y'all realize it? I mean, I did do a little more investigating, and, like, of course the numbers are different everywhere, but generally it's in that range. I had no idea it was so big. Like, I knew it was big, but did y'all realize, like, that many people are visiting ChatGPT? I mean, I was kind of shocked. So of course I had to investigate. So I found an article about it from Backlinko that came out just recently talking about it. And some of these interesting stats, of course, they're all going to have different stats, but this one was saying that ChatGPT gets 400 million weekly active users worldwide. 67.7 million people use ChatGPT in the US alone. They have around 10 million paying subscribers, which is just, wow. It's amazing how much they've grown in a relatively short time, a little over 2 years. So what are y'all thoughts on that? I mean, I haven't been paying attention to the statistics. I should have looked at stuff like this sooner, but I'm just wowed by how much they've grown. So do y'all have any thoughts on that?
I'm not surprised at all, just to throw that out there, because as a business person, and I'm already paying assistants to help me. So I know the argument is if you use AI, then you're taking away jobs from potential people who you could hire. I'm still doing all of this, but it does streamline a lot of what I'm doing. And here's an example. The reason I wanted to find Gamma was a company reached out to me and is interested in having me teach their authors like webinars and things. And so he said, do you have an example of some presentations? And I didn't have anything new because I haven't really gone and done, conferences and things. And so that's why I was looking for Gamma. So the fact that it could put it right into a PDF, I shot it right over. He's like, this is exactly what I wanted. And so we're talking later. So, I mean, you never know when opportunities could arise. And had I not been able to do that so quickly, I might have missed out on a potential opportunity for my business.
Wow.
That's super exciting.
I know, crossing fingers.
So here's like interesting statistic here. So it says as of February 2024, 23% of US adults claim to have ever used ChatGPT. Wow. That's a lot. I think, in the grand scheme of things. And then when it breaks it down by the age range, I mean, of course, not surprised, primarily 18 to 29-year-olds. And then the next one, 30, like you can definitely see the trend, like, the older you are, the less percentage of people. But it's just interesting how widely adopted it's become in such a short period of time. So I don't know. I just find stuff like that fascinating. I just think it's interesting to just watch its growth. And, on here, I always talk about Magi that I use. It's an all-in-one AI tool. But, I've mentioned it here a few times. Honestly, I was just using Magi for the longest time because ChatGPT is in it. Claude, Gemini, Grok, they're all in there. And we've had Dustin from Magi on here a few times on the live stream talking about it. It's just an amazing tool for one low cost. I can just have them all in this one place. But, I do still have my paid ChatGPT account that I only started a few months ago because of that advanced voice feature, because it's phenomenal that I can just sit here and have a conversation with it. And while Dustin has a version of that in Magi, it's not the same experience. So I love Magi for everything I want to do. But then just when I want to grab my phone and just talk to it like a person and brainstorm, for me, that $20 a month has been kind of worth it. Like every month I'm like, oh, I'm not going to renew it. And I turn off the auto renew. But then I'm like, I'll keep like, when is it going to stop? I don't know. I'm still using it. Like I still like this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to renew for another month. So I've done that for several months now, but it's just, it all just depends on the features and what you like and what you get out of it. So instead of just paying $20 a month for Magi, I'm doing $40 a month, 20 at Magi and 20 at ChatGPT, but I'm okay with that at the moment. I don't know how long I'll keep paying for ChatGPT, but they have this one feature I love to use. And for me, it's been, I know for plenty of people it wouldn't be worth it, but have y'all played much? Because they do have it free. It's just, you don't get as many minutes for free doing the advanced voice. Have y'all played with it at all?
I have
The voice
Yeah.
or ChatGPT?
The advanced voice.
I haven't gone back to the voice since our live when you introduced it to us. I haven't done that, but I can't see myself living with, I'd rather live in a tent than be without ChatGPT. I'm sorry, girls, but I got to tell you, when I got online, it was like, I was the kind of person that loved research, and all this stuff is really happening real time. It wasn't just reading about it in books. It was happening before my eyes. And so, because our search, remember when Yahoo was the big deal, and you had to get in Yahoo. And so then we had Google. I rarely use Google at all anymore. I use ChatGPT, and I use the Copilot. Because I switched to the Edge browser so I could have the Copilot on the right-hand side. So it's just right in there beside me, and I'll pull it up and I'll say, give me a backgrounder on Madalyn Sklar or something like that. That's what I'm saying, though. It's just one line thing really fast based on what I'm at.
I'm catching myself doing that more and more too, though, Barb. I think more of us are doing that. But also when you're in Google, because Gemini is Google, when you're doing that, it is utilizing Google Gemini to do your results. So
Mhm.
you feel like you are in an AI
Mhm.
tool. But I'm catching myself more and more going to ChatGPT and doing the same thing.
I don't trust Google.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, all right, we're told not to trust ChatGPT. We're not, trust any of this, but they had plenty of opportunity and they've got all our stuff. So, I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't want to give them, if I'm going to have a conversation with the AI, I think I would rather have it with chat than Google, because Google has so much more information about me
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
This next thing I want to show y'all is wild. Are y'all familiar with Matt Navarra? He's
Yep.
been this big social media guy in the industry. He's over in Europe, and he posted something crazy on his LinkedIn the other day. Y'all been hearing about these AI agents? That's kind of like the new thing in AI now, these AI agents. And I know for people newer to AI, they probably haven't heard that term yet, but we're hearing it more and more, where you can basically have AI talk to each other and do things, or just go do tasks for you, like automate all kinds of things. It's pretty crazy. But he posted something that I feel like really shows a negative side of it. So let me add it on the screen here. I'm going to hit play in a moment, but basically what this is it is a Chinese AI agent running 50 social media accounts 24/7 automatically. So watch this. 非常简，没有儿。So I actually let me just mute it. I'll just put it back on there for a sec. So this is a company in China that is, I guess, has all these probably bot accounts. I don't know. I think this is like the new phase of bots, right? And it's just automating everything. So it's, we already thought bots were bad enough. And now having these whole AI agents. And I'm sure this is happening all over the world. I'm sure plenty of companies have started doing this because we keep hearing about these AI agents. It's all automated. So this thing we're looking at on the screen is running 24/7.
Hmm.
I'm really concerned of what this is going to turn social media into.
Not good. I don't like it.
I don't either. I'm glad that Matt shared this on his LinkedIn, because I was like, I mean, I know there are some good things that these AI agents will be able to do, but I feel like this is a very negative thing, especially for those of us, that are really into social media as a business. This is just going to dilute it, like worse than the bots are already doing. So I was just really shocked when I saw that. And I was like, oh my God, what is this coming to? We're going to talk about StreamYard. I know Barb wants to talk about StreamYard. Barb, I first want to show everybody, though, my little issue I had last week, because I had quite the problem. We were doing this last week, a week ago right now. We were on here doing our Thursday afternoon chat. We're live streaming. Y'all know I love to bring stuff on the screen so we can look at it and talk about it, especially little video clips. And everything was fine last week. Y'all were here. Everything was fine, right? Every time I showed a video, it came right up. Every time I showed my screen, y'all saw everything. We talked about it. So when it's done, I like to go check out the replay, because like for YouTube, I want to go back in, put in the timestamps, put in the links to all the things we watch, all the videos and articles that were discussed. And when I was setting up the timestamps, I'm like, why is the screen blank? So I went to, my concern was anybody watching the replay after we did this last week are going to have a very different experience than us, because every time I shared my screen, it didn't show it right away. In some cases, it was just for several seconds, and in other cases, it was for over a minute. So I'm going to show one so y'all can see the example. And I was horrified, because I'm like, what the heck is going on? I'm going to mute it. Well, no, I guess I won't mute it, but let me cue it up, because I want y'all to see this. If you didn't watch the replay, then you wouldn't have even known this happened. But I know plenty of people watched the replay. And, I want things to be just right. I want it to work. I want it to do what it's supposed to do. And for it to not do it, is makes me not happy. So, and here I'm a paying customer of StreamYard, but ever since they got new owners last year, it has not been the same. It's been very frustrating. But I'm going to put this on the screen. It's going to be very meta because it's going to be us on the screen. But I want you to watch when I pull up a video. I think this is the one where I was replaying Dustin talking about the whole privacy on Magi. So I want y'all to watch this to see what happened. This is a replay on Facebook, a whole privacy and data thing and how they did it. So let me play this for y'all real quick. Where is it?
Yeah, my policy is we will never use a model. We will never integrate with a company or app or anything that does not respect.
So for over a minute, we don't see Dustin. Eventually he pops up. This did it. I checked, and this was all the replays. My Facebook, my X, and my YouTube. So
what about your recording on the server?
I didn't check that. I should have checked that. I just
that's supposed to be the, that's direct.
I'm not going to re-upload. I mean, the whole point is for this to be live stream and then it lives on because it's already
except that it doesn't live on that long on Facebook. So I'm telling folks to actually, after you've gone live, whether it's like 72 hours, switch it out with your video, because you're going to forget it. Then, it's going to be long over. So you need to.
Well, for me, it lives on YouTube, and that's where if anybody wants to go ever catch a replay of any of these, which we've been doing for a while now, the best experience is going to be on YouTube because it's easy to go back for replays. Whereas Facebook is not easy. X is the worst because you have to go through the whole feed. I never understood why X did not make it easy for people to go watch replays of live streams and spaces. It never made sense.
Exactly.
What a missed opportunity. That would keep people on the platform longer, which I know that's what they want. But it's like, why wouldn't you do that? No, you're driving everybody to YouTube because that's your better experience for replays of live streams. But with Facebook, I'm not terribly concerned because I think majority of people that want to watch a replay of something older than 30 days are more likely to be on YouTube versus anywhere else. I mean, that's just my thought on that. But I just was horrified that all three of those replays were like that. Eventually, Dustin pops back up, and we're all watching it, but we did not have any problems watching it. And I remember everything worked perfectly. So I went on StreamYard's Facebook group and complained about it and put the link in and did that particular timestamp so they could see exactly. And when they came back, which was not right away, and they moderate their posts, which I don't like. I guess it's because it's such a large community. I get that. But when you're a large community, and if anybody StreamYard is watching this, let me give you a piece of advice for somebody who's been building online community since the 90s. If you have a large community of over 30,000 people, and that's why you moderate the posts, which I completely understand, have somebody checking those and putting them up once or more times per day. Like, don't let it sit for longer than a day. Like, it always takes a long time. Although one that I did yesterday was real quick. I was shocked. I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, it'll be at least a day. But that's a problem. Their response, and since these new owners, every time the response is always cold. It's never like, oh, thank you for being a member of our community. Thank you for being a paid customer. No, it's always, oh, we fixed it, without much explanation. And so they said, let me pull up the post. They said that they fixed it on Friday night, I think is what they said. And when you're a paid customer for something, you got to make people feel good about everything and not, I don't know. That's just my thought. I just was not expecting. And Barb, I really appreciate you jumping in to that conversation as well. So
yeah, I tagged David too, and David. I'm sorry,
David. Yeah,
he pronounces it David. And I David him up all the time. So it's so bad.
Well, I mean, I'll just read the comment from him because since it's a private group, I probably shouldn't show it. But it says they identified the issue, fixed it Friday night, should not happen again. Sorry for the disruption during your live stream. But here's the thing. For anybody that's in that group, boy, there are lots of angry people in there that have mean, one of my friends he did one the other day. It starts off with WTF question mark. That's how
Yeah,
we started the
I
post.
saved. Yeah,
And it's like,
I
yeah.
saved the graphic. I thought that is so appropriate at
Yeah.
this point. I'm going to put it on a cup.
Yeah, with the angry emoji. Yeah, it starts off, "Hey StreamYard, WTF question mark." And he had a major problem. And yeah, it's frustrating, when you're using these tools, you're paying money for it. Your live stream is gosh, it's just not a good thing to have. Like, they gotta stay on top of the problems. And yeah, it's frustrating. But I'm glad it's resolved, because I also do a, a live stream on Saturdays with my Kratom gals. We do, like, for my Kratom community. And it's a excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with my voice. It's a live stream with reaction. We react to video. So the whole thing is like, it's like this, but I do way more videos, and we're watching them together and we're reacting. We have a pretty large community hanging out with us, and it worked fine. But I didn't realize this. I don't know. The problem, I figured it was just some one-off thing. So I didn't even think about it for my Saturday. But he said they fixed it Friday night. So that's good. But then I ran into another problem yesterday. So let me share what just happened yesterday. So with my other community, we weren't live streaming, but we were just, doing the recording and recording something. And yeah, I think I'm just not going to show this itself since it's a private group. But I told them I was having an issue with the new feature where you can add an image. So I love that we can now, in StreamYard, if I just have an image, instead of having to do a slideshow, I can just put up an image on here. I love that we can now do that. So I was testing it with my co-host, because I want to play around with this and get the feel of how to seamlessly do some stuff before we do our live stream on Saturday. And what was so interesting, you have 4 of us like this on screen. 3 of us are on desktop computer, 1 is on mobile. So when I add the image up, I was trying to just practice going from the video to the image. And every time I went to the image with this new feature, the one on the mobile said, "I don't see it." And I'm like, "Really?" So we were trying to kind of troubleshoot this and figure this out. And I'm like, "Okay, are you on the iOS app? They have an iOS app for guests, or are you doing it through browser?" And she says, "I'm on the iOS app." I'm like, did they not test that? That's interesting. So she switched to the browser version of StreamYard on her phone, and it was fine. So I went and did a post, because I just want, look, it never hurts to speak out whenever you have, whether it's a free tool, a paid tool, whatever it is. It never hurts to, like, mention, especially when they have a Facebook group, let them know, like, "Hey, it's not working." Send a tweet. Like, there's so many ways to, reach out to a company. So they haven't responded yet. Somebody, the moderator tagged David. Haven't heard from him yet. This was yesterday. But I got a little snarky. Somebody commented, and I don't think they understood I was being snarky. So, so I explained all that, what I just told y'all. My second paragraph, just to be a little snarky, because I'm so frustrated with them right now, is, do you no longer want us to have guests on the iOS app? The previous owners always told us it's best for them to use the app, which they did. They constantly said, when you have guests and they're on mobile, have them use, and they're on an iPhone or iPad, use the iOS app. I mean, they always stress that. So I just figured, did they not test that? So let me just throw that in. Like, okay, would y'all rather us not have our guests on mobile use that anymore? So I don't know. Somebody in the community saw that comment. They didn't realize I was just being a little snarky. So anyway, what are your thoughts on all this, Barb? Because you're active in that community. I appreciate you, chiming in when you saw my post with last week's live stream.
Well, I'm a founding member of that group, and I actually introduced hundreds of people to the product, and from the very early days. And the young men that actually founded it, we're still friends, and they've made their 150 million not down the road. The foundation, when they started out, and they consulted with me and a couple of other people right in the beginning, and I said, we're at a stage in the development of live streaming tools. I said, it's the geeky people who are trying it out. They list, because we could see it was going to be revolutionary. And you can get, some of us would charge well over $100 an hour, but you could get our expertise for free if you listen to us. And they were exceptional about listening to the customer.
Yeah.
And taking it to heart. They hired a lot of my friends and it was a beautiful product and everything was running stellar. And I thought, we made it that valuable that this other company bought it. But
Right.
when they came, and so those of us who are in that founding realm, we also had, because we were helping to develop, and I was negotiating, I said, well, normally we are paid 100 and plus, an hour to do this thing. So at least you could do is discount us our fees on this. And so they did things like that. We also developed an affiliate program that is actually the fairest. To me, it's a great affiliate program. And then we taught everybody how to do it. So, these guys that bought it, they had a gold mine that they hadn't even begun to get the ore out. They hadn't, it was just starting out. But the number one thing that they did wrong is not listening to the customer.
100%.
And that has been happening ever since the purchase date. And so this was billed, this live that we attended, and I advertised it around beforehand. I said, don't miss this, in different groups, because I'll tell you that Facebook personnel use this tool for their live streaming. And they were just blown apart because of the way things had changed. But we don't have, when you're managing a community, you do not have time for all the techie stuff going in there and deal, like what happened to Madalyn in her examples. And there needs to be, that kind of thing needs to be acted upon right away.
Yes.
That's all there is to it.
It did not even get posted on, because they have it for moderation. It wasn't until I think the next day or the day after.
Yeah.
It might've been 2 days. And then you could see they had a whole bunch of posts come in at once. So somebody who was moderating just obviously picked all the ones that could go in there. And
I know who it was. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
You should be quick with it. And
well,
here's the thing. Every time I'm in that Facebook group, all you have to do is go look in the comments. People are pissed. Almost every post will have people commenting, whether it has to do with the post or not, saying, I'm not renewing. They're too expensive now. The customer service problem. It's just a whole laundry list. It's it was a gold mine for them. I'll tell you that.
I've only got days left on mine to where I am now going to be faced with $800 and some a year.
It's ridiculous how much they went up.
And I have clients on there, and just this morning, the Udemy instructor, he said to me, what do you think of this billing? It's $800 over. And have you been looking at anything else? And so forth and so on, But I just, that's got to change. But I really was holding out a lot of hope with that live yesterday. And they have a communications manager who, she has been in the group, I think, since August or so. But she's been there all that time. And communications manager, okay? She should be in there every day posting. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Or she should have personnel working for her posting. The whole thing and the level of clientele that they want to have. And I thought, you guys are really missing the boat, because some of us are tied to such really big corporations that you want to do business with, and it's going to get right back to them because they don't have time for that. The customer has to come first.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing that has happened. And it's so sad.
It is. I'm
But-
already looking at other platforms because mine renews in August. And when it renewed last year, mine renewed literally, I had the annual plan. It renewed like a month before
Right.
they jacked up the price. And it's like I'm on the plan that's a little bit lower, that lower one. And they went up, they doubled the price, which is
Right.
insane. So I am looking at Ecamm, which I've used before, but it was a long time ago. Since I'm on a Mac, I think I might go back to that. I don't know. I'm looking at others, but I am open to switching. But StreamYard does have some good features I like.
Right.
That's the only thing, but I just can't get past, how can a company come in, buy it out, and then charge double?
Exactly.
As
Right.
people have been, I'm sure they lost a ton of business because people have been complaining since that happened. I know plenty of people are on the monthly plan, so you're affected immediately. And there wasn't even much warning on this. It just everything happened so
Exactly.
fast. Like this is the wrong way to run a business. We need to move on though because we got other news. But it's just interesting, and that there's so many problems going on there. At least our live stream seems to be working right now, so that's good. But thanks for sharing all that, Barb, in your experience with them. So I'm a big fan of YouTube, and I use YouTube a lot. And years ago, I went and got their premium account. So for like an extra, I think when I first signed up years ago, I think it was like maybe $9.99 a month at the time. And they, over time slowly kept adding to the cost. But it was to me worth it because when you have the premium account, you have no ads on YouTube ever. And it is so nice. Okay. And then they've added other features over time. So like I can download some stuff. So I can actually, which I did not even think about doing it prior to us having a hurricane here in Houston back in July and not having electricity for 9 days. It would have been so nice to have something like music or something I can listen to on my phone that I didn't even think to have anything downloaded. And there's just some really nice, relaxing music I like to listen to in the evening or overnight while I sleep. That it's like I need to download this so I have it as a backup, and that is a feature on the premium account. So I made sure I prepared in case that ever happens again. Plus, if you like listening to music while you sleep, there's like these really nice, like just really just chill. That's just so nice to have while you're sleeping. That's like 11 or 12 hours long. So when I was first playing around with that a while back, it eats up into your data plan on your internet. And I was not even thinking of that. And all of a sudden my internet data went way through the roof. I'm like, thank God I have the ability to download this on my phone. So I can download a few of those and then I can just listen to them as much as I want on my phone and I'm not using any data, which is, another good reason to be able to have a feature like that. But anyway, I want to let y'all know they just announced last week that they are introducing what's called Premium Lite. So a way to have it ad free but not cost as much. So the premium account currently is $13.99 a month. So that's what I pay. And you get no ads on your videos. You also get the music and music videos ad free and the downloads, like I mentioned, and the background play. And the background play is a huge feature that I absolutely love, which means while I'm out walking my dog and I want to listen to a podcast or some, because everything is on YouTube now, like podcast. There are plenty of podcasts I used to watch on my podcast player that I do it through their YouTube now. Their YouTube channel. And I can just turn off the screen, put my phone in my pocket and walk my dog. And I'm still listening to it like an audio podcast, even though it's a video podcast. And that's one of my favorite features. So that's called background play. I didn't realize that was a premium only feature at first. But anyway, they're coming up with this new Premium Lite for $7.99 a month. So if anybody's ever thought about wanting to try to be ad free, that might be a good way to try it out. Now it says most videos ad free. I hate when they do that. It's like, okay, it's like when ChatGPT upped the minutes on advanced voice for free. It's like, but they won't tell you how many, like, just tell us, right? All right, so most videos ad-free. Okay, whatever. Gaming, fashion, beauty, news, and more. So that seems to be the only feature. You don't get the other features like the music and music videos ad-free or the downloads and background play. But I just thought it was worth passing along because so many people are really into YouTube now. I I was just watching a video the other day. It's long. It's like a long webinar, but I need to pull some clips. Maybe I'll play it next week from my friend Justin at Primal Video. He's like a YouTube expert, and talking about how podcasts have really moved to YouTube, which is so interesting. And it was interesting listening to this. It was like a webinar I think they just did last week. And it was so interesting to listen to them talking, him and his guest talking about this, because I've been a podcast listener since podcasts first came out a gazillion years ago. And then I started my first podcast in 2013. I wanted to start sooner, but nobody in my community, my music community back then even knew what a podcast was. And back then, back in the early days of podcasts, it was kind of revolved around having an iPod. It was all about how you had your digital stuff, your files, and people in my community could not grasp the concept. So I figured, well, let me wait till, people at least know what a podcast is. So 2013 is when I started podcasting, and I've always just been an old school podcaster, audio, love it. And I listen to a lot of podcasts on my phone with the podcast player I use. And I have noticed in the past several months, most of those podcasts I listen to my podcast player, I'm instead doing it through YouTube. Because when there's a video version, there are times where I just want to see them on the screen, but most times I have it in the background because I have that feature on the premium. And I noticed that I was doing that more and more, but I just wasn't really overthinking it. But then watching this webinar and them talking about how YouTube podcasts have really exploded, it's like, wow, I've been gravitating to that without even realizing it. But I think it's because I'm a premium user. So with no ads, if I looked at like the last several years, I probably just keep doubling the amount of time I'm on YouTube, and I'm on it all the time now because everything is there. And you have to remember too, it's a search engine. Anything I want to find out something about, I can just go search for it there as well, not just Google or ChatGPT. And to have like a video or multiple videos talking about something I'm interested in is powerful. So, my friend Venus says she used to do the free trials every 30 days, a couple of times a year. Yeah, because I know they do those free trials from time to time. They'll pop up on your YouTube. But I just thought it was interesting. I think this just really shows the explosion of YouTube and how so many more people are using it now. And maybe they realize they should have a light version instead of just that one. Next thing I want to talk about, Grok. Are any of y'all using Grok over on X? A little bit.
I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, good to see you.
What I'm using it for is making art of Elon and Trump. I just want to see if Grok can put it. It's not to be put on screen right now, but it was a situation. I thought, he's asking us to use it,
right? And it's free.
I saw other people doing it, and I thought, I just wonder how it's going to respond. And I'm a beta tester, as you know. Is
it still free? Like I know several weeks back here on the live stream, I had reported that, they were making that new Grok available only for the premium account holders, but they were letting it be free for everybody for a while.
Yeah.
I
have a paid account.
I have a paid account and a free account, but I haven't really paid attention on my free one.
Yeah, me either.
But I want to show y'all something interesting. So there was a post that came out, I think this was last week. Elon posted and said, Ask Grok is now live. Just reply to a post with @Grok. So, and I'm going to show a couple examples because I was wondering, I saw somebody do that in one of my posts, and I was like,
I did it.
This is kind of cool. So here's the example he shared. So somebody did this post, wore this fit today. Nobody got the reference. Okay. So somebody replied, oh, it's the same person. @Grok, who is this character? And so Grok is going to come in and, well, it doesn't do it there. Let me pull up the one where y'all can actually see it in action. I don't know why it doesn't show it there. But basically you can take any post and do that. So I did a post the other day, motivational quote, because I love motivational quotes. And one of my friends, Aaron, he replied and put, at Grok, explain this. And he's in another country. So I figured, okay, he just wanted to like maybe fully understand what did this mean, is what I assumed. So at Grok gives this, explanation about this quote.
Mhm.
So I thought that was really interesting. So have y'all seen this out
Yep.
there much?
I see
Okay.
a lot more of it in my feed now, doing just that, testing it.
So all you have to do is take any post and reply to it and put at Grok. Do you have to say anything? I mean, you can just put, let me go back to Elon's
You
original.
must have to say something.
Let me go back to his original post to see what he said.
I think I've said a couple. Is this true?
It says just reply with a post. So I guess you do
Mhm.
at Grok and you say something like in
You're right.
the
Mhm.
example he showed was like, who is this character when it was to that image? Okay. So you hit reply to any post, you put at Grok and then just ask it a question. That's pretty smart. I think that's like I think that's going to get more people to use Grok when they're on X. Because it's like having a built-in ChatGPT kind of thing, right? Like, because I mean, you could just go over to Grok inside. You can see on my left sidebar, I have Grok, but this is my premium account because I'm on my Madalyn Sklar. But I don't know. I thought this was really interesting. So I don't know. Y'all should play around with it a little bit and report back to me what you think. I'm just wondering, is this going to get more people to use Grok? And I think it probably will get more people using it.
I think it's
my
a great way to introduce new people to using AI. Like if they've
Yeah.
never used it before. It's a great
Right.
without them having to download an app, without them having to go outside of where they're at already. Smart move.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are plenty of people, myself included, are like, do I need another AI tool to play with? I remember when Grok came out, I'm like, oh my God, do I need to play with another one? I'm already happy with ChatGPT and Magi and all those, my Gemini. Like I've got my little system in place. And they talked about how it was really snarky. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to care for that. I played with it a few times. It's okay. I like the images it does. I like the image generation. That's been pretty cool. But this is interesting. This is interesting. So I'll probably play around with that a bit more when I'm in, somebody's post and want to like have it answer a question. Our next piece of news comes from Instagram. I'm going to play a video from Adam Azari, the CEO. He's going to talk about, and I think this is interesting and good to know for those of you that use Instagram, is that they don't penalize content that's being created in other apps. Just don't do the watermark. So if you're using other apps, so let me play this, a short clip, but this is good to know because there was a time where you'd always hear about how, if you use a different app and then post it. So if I use some app, make a video and then go post it in Instagram, it's not going to do well. So he clarifies this for everybody.
Do not penalize content for being created in other apps. There's a rumor that we do, that if you create content elsewhere and you post it on Instagram, that we downrank that content. I want to be clear. We want to build the best tools that we can for creators to make content using Instagram. But if you want to make content elsewhere, that is totally fine with us. We are not going to downrank that content. That said, I do want to also be clear that if you do post on Instagram and there is a watermarked logo in the reel or on the content, that will be ranked lower in feed. So if you want to maximize reach, make sure you avoid watermarked logos. More advice coming soon.
I think that's good to know.
Well, and it makes a lot of sense because if it's watermarked, it's really meant for whatever
Right.
you did it, right? Like that's the reason they watermark it is they want people to know it came from there.
But TikTok just changed, TikTok. Oh, do I have a love-hate thing with TikTok? So when I first got on there a while back, they were doing that stupid watermark. And like if you want a copy of it on your phone, it's going to have the watermark. And it really sucks because I like to repurpose content, right? I mean, most of us marketers, we like that. It's less work. It's my motto, work smarter, not harder. And I like to get things out all over the place. And so they make it really tough. Now, there are some tools where it'll remove the watermark, but every tool I tried did a crappy job. So I just gave up. Well, there was a time where TikTok removed the watermark, and then you can have the way you got it would automatically put it on your phone if you opted to, which I always have it opted to always put it on my phone. afterwards. But then they made it so that if you wanted a non-watermark version, you had to do this whole funky maneuver where before you post it on the right side, you had to tap the down arrow. It's so hard. It was so hard to remember all this for the longest time. Tap this thing at the very, but they made it so hard. At the very bottom, you see a little save button. You had to tap the save. And it was such a pain. I kept forgetting to do it all the time because I like to take what I'm doing, and this is for my Kratom community, I would like to take those videos because I do really well with those over there on TikTok, and I want to put it on my YouTube. And I've been experimenting with this. And, you know, for those of y'all that know me well, I'm always talking about like experimenting. Like I love to just try things to see what works. And so I've been doing this experiment for a while now where I'm taking some of my TikTok shorts or TikTok videos and put them into YouTube shorts. And on my YouTube is driving a lot more people to my account. I'm getting more views, even though I've been hosting a weekly live stream, but it's long format. It's like 2 to 3, even sometimes 4 hours. It's crazy. Do that every Saturday. I've been doing that for over a year. That has its community that loves that. But I've been experimenting with the shorts to see will the people that like my long form like the shorts? Maybe they're not on TikTok and don't realize I have all these short form videos. Or will this bring new traffic? And then they'll be, oh, she has a podcast, she has a live stream. So I've been pleasantly surprised in looking at my analytics over the past several months that's been the driver of most of my views are coming from me posting just taking the posts, my TikTok posts and repurposing over there. So here's the thing. When I was mentioning on TikTok that whole maneuver you had to do to get a saved copy without the watermark, then a while back, not too long ago, they went back to where you could not get the save anymore. So you're going to have the watermark, and it was incredibly frustrating. Because there was a time where if you looked at my shorts on that account, you see that I have some I did. I wasn't doing them consistently, but I was doing it because I could get the non-watermark with that whole maneuver. Then they stopped it. So then I stopped doing the shorts because it's like, what? I'm not going to put them on there with the watermark. Because not just the downrank, I think it just looks unprofessional. You're going to have a TikTok watermark video on your YouTube. I don't think that's not, as a marketer, that's not smart. You don't want to do that. So recently, they came up with another feature on TikTok where your automatic version to your phone will have the watermark, but there's this thing you could tap. I remember when it came out and it was kind of weird at first. I'm like, well, I don't understand what it's trying to tell me. So TikTok is like, if you want a non-watermark version, you can't save it. You had to tap a button because if you were trying to do that save feature, it wouldn't do it anymore. So you had to say post now. Then it'll give you a non-watermark version. I'm like, well, okay, just somehow give me a version that has no watermark. They make you jump through so many hoops. So I guess it remembers the one time it does that. So now anytime I make a video, I'm going to get a non-watermark version. Once I post it, there'll be a non-watermark version on my phone. And now I take those and I've been like experimenting with putting one of those on my YouTube like once a day or every couple times a week. And it is making a huge difference with my analytics. I wasn't expecting it. So it's always nice when you're experimenting with something and you're getting really good results. So it's just something to think about because I don't know. Do people think about doing that much, trying different things? But then hearing the CEO of Instagram talk about, don't put up a watermark version, but if you do this elsewhere, meaning I'm sure he's thinking somebody that does YouTube shorts or TikTok videos, you're creating them over there or using CapCut, which is owned by TikTok. It is good to know that you're not going to get penalized if you take that video without a watermark and put it on your Instagram.
As you were talking about YouTube and how much more exposure you're getting with that makes so much sense because Google owns YouTube. So, when you have a podcast and you're telling people you have to go here, you have to go there, people are used to going to YouTube. And so it makes sense that is probably where you're getting the most bang for your buck by posting YouTube shorts and things like that too.
Yeah.
From an SEO perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
I just think it's good to experiment to see, because like the strategy I was just sharing, you could try it and maybe it doesn't work as well for you. Like, it's always different from account to account, platform to platform. but I'm just finding it's been worth my time to invest a little bit of time of like compiling some of these TikTok videos, move them over to my YouTube, and then like prepping them and having them ready. So then like I can just say, okay, I'm going to put this one live right now, and then I'll do another one tomorrow. And just consistency definitely pays off. I definitely notice when I'm consistent with it, I see really good results.
That makes sense too.
Yeah. Gosh, our hour goes so fast, but I want to show one more thing because I had this for last week and we didn't have time. Since we're talking about strategy and YouTube, there is a really popular young girl who does these YouTube shorts, and her shorts usually get like 1 million views. Like her name, I don't know if y'all have heard of her. Her name is what is her name? It is Jenny Hoyos, Hoyos. Anyway, I came across her about a year ago, and I mean, it's kind of like a Mr. Beast vibe, but shorts, like just being silly, doing wild, crazy things to get attention. I think that's something the younger crowd likes, but it works for her, and she's gotten like really well known. So there's this short little 2-minute interview I want to play that she did that she talks about mastering hooks, which actually applies to anything you're doing with video. So this is not just for YouTube, even though her specialty is YouTube, but you can apply this to Instagram or TikTok as well. But she's had 1.8 billion views on her YouTube shorts. So she is somebody that, and she's young. I mean, this girl's like, I think in her early 20s, super young. So she has a short video where she gives away some advice on mastering hooks. So I want to play this for y'all real quick.
The hook. And the hook is so important that sometimes I figure out the most viral hook isn't the most viral idea. So then I have to come back to the idea and change the idea based on the hook. Power words should be the first thing that starts the video. Power words are things that will instantly hook people that are very strong words such as free, $0, stole, or any like crazy word. And the reason I say that is because I see a lot of people, like way too many people start their videos with I'm out. This is not telling me anything about the video. Like I actually scroll because it's like, it's bad. As opposed to if someone says free chicken sandwiches all weekend, I'm in. Where are these free chicken sandwiches? I was in the moment you said free. So that's the number one thing. You want your hooks to start with power words. The second thing is you want it to be progressing the video. The reason why this is also bad is because it is just saying a statement. It is not doing anything. This is blank. Doesn't tell me what you're going to do. It's just telling me a statement as opposed to free chicken sandwiches this weekend. You're already telling me the whole story. Or I'm building a secret room. You're already telling me the action. Even though the power words aren't until 3 words in, secret, it still works because it's starting with the action. I'm doing blank. I'm going to do blank. The story is progressing as opposed to a statement being stale. That's the second thing. And another thing that's very crucial for hooks or in your general like introduction of your video is to foreshadow the end. Your hook has to be so clear what the video is going to be about. You're not only setting up the video, but you're also saying what the conflict is and what's going to be at the end of the video all in one sentence, which is very hard, but that's what a really good hook has.
Interesting. I mean, she's so young and she has really figured out how to master YouTube shorts with the way, and I want to play one just so y'all can get an idea. And it's funny because when I first started seeing her, I'm like, I don't know about this. But I ended up subscribing because while most of them don't really appeal to me all that much, she's so smart with what she does. And she's figured out something that works and gets 1 million views easily. I mean, sometimes way more, but many times when I go look at her feed, there's usually like 1 million. Gosh, with shorts, I might have to just put up on the screen and refresh because, you know, some of these, they just start playing the second you pull it up. I hate that. Because I don't want y'all to miss her hook. So this is like one of her new ones. Let me just see if I refresh.
I'm banned from a grocery store for taking too many free samples because a few months ago, I walked into Costco with a giant backpack. But the second I tried to enter, an employee stopped me. So I panicked and blurted out, I'm filming a video to see how many free samples I can get by changing costume. And he laughed, not because of my genius plan, but because he was asking for my Costco card, not my life story. So I walked in and got my first sample of their new electrolyte drink. Then I changed it to a banana costume to go for another sample, and the sample lady laughed, knowing it was me again, but she gave me another one anyway, probably thinking I needed the extra vitamin C. Then I changed into a Batman costume and confidently went in for another one. But the sample lady wasn't there. Maybe she was getting more from me. Until the store manager storms in and says she'd sue me if I posted this footage. So I said, no problem, let me just buy strawberries and go. When I turned around, there were 2 Costco-sized security guards blocking the aisles as if I stuffed a rotisserie chicken down my cake. They didn't even let me buy the strawberries. They just escorted me out. So if you want me to go back with another costume, subscribe. I'm
She's just funny, and she just does these real, and she lives at home with her parents. She has her mom in her videos half the time. It's hilarious. And she's just gotten so much attention from this style of videos. I mean, it's not a style for me, but I just thought when she was talking about hooks, that was really powerful. I mean, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I think she's smart. It makes me want to go into Chat GPT or Magi and go, okay, create some hooks for me.
Right.
You know, like, here's what I want to say. Tell me a few different ways to say it.
Great way to use ChatGPT or
Right, for sure. Here's one. Look at this strawberry yogurt patty, 29 million views with her mom. Let's see what this is.
How do you make this?
It's gonna get strawberries.
You're making a mess.
Now we're gonna cut them.
What I have a small knife and you get the good one. What's wrong with her?
And now we add yogurt and milk.
I don't know about the flavor, but try it.
Hey, it's not ready yet. We're gonna turn it into a circle. Strawberry burger.
It's a sad.
Now we freeze it.
That was quick.
Now we're gonna melt chocolate.
I don't like chocolate.
Trust me.
How do you do that?
We're gonna dip this in the chocolate.
Doesn't fit.
Cover it in chocolate.
So what happened with the people that doesn't like chocolate?
Not too bad.
It's silly as heck, but it's fun. And I mean, when I came across her last year, I'm like, it's fun. Okay, this is kind of cool, but I'm not subscribing. But then I kept seeing it in my feed. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to subscribe. I'm one of her subscribers. She has millions of them. It's just impressive to see how she does. I mean, because some of it's just like overacting, like she's overly acting. Her and her mom is kind of, but I think that's because we're a bit older. I'm sure the young crowd loves that very much. but she's doing something right, and she gets interviewed all the time, and she's so young, but she cracked the code on YouTube Shorts. I think she's like one of the most well-known YouTubers that does shorts and does very well with it.
Good for her.
So I think it's super cool.
That's
super
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share that with y'all because I just love the whole strategy of her talking about hooks. And it's just something that I think we can all apply to all the things we do that have to do with video. And she was so right when she was doing that interview and talking about that first word out of your mouth. I know TikTok, so important. I'm not very good at that, but it just, when I watch stuff like that, it's like, okay, I got to really think more about that and plan, grab attention.
Before we go, I have a Hootsuite question/complaint. Are you still using Hootsuite?
I haven't used them in a real, first of all, I use Hootsuite since they were brand new. Okay. When they first started, I was all over that. It was before Buffer. Hootsuite was the first one where you could schedule social media posts. And I was just blown away. I loved it. I told everybody about it. I loved that for the longest time. They had a free version. And, but I did switch to Buffer. It took me a long time to switch, but when a lot of my colleagues and friends were raving about Buffer, I remember I had finally tried it and I'm like, this is pretty good. Now, this is me, who has been a Hootsuite ambassador. I've gotten to know people, not so much these days, but years ago, knew people that worked there. I've interviewed people for previous podcasts from there. But I really liked Buffer over time, and I love that you can easily, and you still can today, you can use the free version of Buffer and really not pay for it. Depending on how many posts you want to do. If you just want to do a few platforms and you're okay with, manually going in and doing it a couple of times a week, you can stay on the free account forever. And I love that.
For sure. The reason I liked Hootsuite, or still like it, is because you can retweet. You can manage everything from there, right? And Buffer doesn't have that. You can't interact with people. You can do that from Hootsuite. But anyway, just within the last week, they changed the little box that you go in to hit retweet, and it's like this big. It's driving me insane. And I've sent them several polite DMs, but I was grandfathered in. So I have over 50 accounts, which would now be thousands and thousands of dollars. Otherwise, I would just use Buffer as well. But I was just wondering if you knew anything about that at all.
You know, I just, stopped promoting them a couple years ago when they like totally jacked up their prices and stopped the free account, and they changed a lot. And I was already using Buffer. I did both for the longest time. I'm always having a strategy with how I do things. And for I did not want to completely give up Hootsuite. So like, I remember I was like on their lowest paid plan but I still had my Buffer paid plan. And I
have both as well. Yeah.
I had a system, because when you've been with Hootsuite forever, there's certain things, especially back in the old school Twitter chat days, I had a whole, I've been doing Twitter chats, even though now we live stream instead, but I was doing old school hashtag Twitter chats. My first one started in 2011, I think it was, or 2000. Yeah, I think it was 2011. So I had a whole system using Hootsuite. I actually used to teach an online class showing, because everybody wanted to know like how I did all this. And I ran multiple Twitter chats for a long time too. Oh my gosh, at one point I was doing 4 a week. It was insane. But I had a whole system using Hootsuite. When I switched over to Buffer, I like the Hootsuite way I could prep the chat better than how I could do it on Buffer. But I liked Buffer's features, and I liked it for just regular scheduling a post. So yeah, for years I used both. So I just had my one system over here. Uh-oh. What did StreamYard just do?
It stopped it.
Weird.
StreamYard.
Well, at least
wow.
It might be my internet thing just went kind of low on StreamYard. But that seemed like StreamYard.
I think it's your I don't think that's StreamYard. I think it's your internet connection.
Your internet, probably, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to like sidetrack us.
Oh, no. You're all
curious.
good.
Yeah.
You're all good. I mean, there was one question from Matthew. We need to wrap up because it's gotten late. One thing that scares me became after watching people admit to starting the actual wrong channel. Any recommendations of the right way to start as a business, not personal? But what do you mean by wrong channel?
No, starting the channel wrong, he says.
Oh, am I not reading it right? Sorry. Even though I wear glasses, my vision's so bad.
So,
these are trifocals, and it's still hard to read. Starting the actual channel wrong. Okay. Y'all have any thoughts on that? That's like how we were taught to write papers, essay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of out of place. I can't pull it together.
I think about Levi's on that one, right? Because they just put out a logo and they changed it as they went. And eventually they got to the point where they found something that really worked for them and they hung with it. So just starting is the biggest thing. If you don't start, you can't adjust it. So if you start moving, you can modify it. And what happens is if you have those old videos, which I have tons of, people can see your growth. They can see that you've come a long ways. And most people don't go back and watch the old ones.
Right.
Anyway.
But you can take them down too. Like this channel we're on right now on YouTube. For those who are on my YouTube right now, this is my @Madalyn Sklar. I've had it forever. And I was known for teaching Twitter. So I had a lot of videos how to use Twitter over the years. And we're talking pre-X. So weird how like the way we say X, pre-X. That's just a weird pre-X. Anyway, over time, a lot of my videos became very outdated, especially when Twitter would change the layout and you're watching me make a video of me showing you how to do stuff. And it's like people in the comment, doesn't look like this anymore. And you have to remember, as I said before, YouTube is a search engine. It's owned by, Google is the number one search engine. Google owns YouTube. YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. So people will find your older videos, but not necessarily at a high rate, but they could through searches. And so I left all those videos up until last year. Okay. And I wasn't teaching Twitter anymore. And I was like, well, should I teach some X stuff? I don't know. So I had a video from a few years ago. I think it was right after Elon bought X, but it was still Twitter. And I was showing how to do something. And over time, it got outdated. But there was this period of time where a lot of people, I guess, through the search saw that video and they were commenting, "Oh my God, this is so helpful. Thank you for having this." But then when the whole thing changed with X, people were getting kind of mad. They were still finding it, even though it was an older video, and they were commenting like, "It doesn't work like this anymore." I'm thinking,
It's like, look at the date.
why don't
people.
you just be quiet? Like, you don't have to sit here and complain about something that obviously, exactly, you look at the date and you can see, okay, that was posted at that time. But I was just starting to get hate from old videos I had. So I'm like, well, I'm not even going in that direction anymore. Should I start with a new account? I really wanted to keep this account because it's at Madalyn Sklar. Why would I want to change it to something else? That's my name. That's my brand. So I just went into the YouTube studio and I just put them all on private. It's like they're pointless to me. I kept a lot of the old ones up for a long time because, like you were saying, Cindy Lou, it does show the progression. I think it gave me credibility. It showed, like, people could go on there and go, "Oh boy, she's been teaching Twitter for a long time on her YouTube channel." I never really took YouTube real seriously enough where I was very consistent with it. I wish I had, since I've had this YouTube a long time. But now I'm doing this as a live stream, so I consistently have this go up every week. And then what I've been doing also is taking a clip from the live stream, like when we had Dustin, the example I showed earlier when I complained to StreamYard. I made that a clip as just a video, because some people are not going to want to watch a whole live stream. They're going to go, "Oh, this was an hour long. I'd rather just see a clip of something, that I'm interested in." So I made a clip of when Dustin from Magi talked about the whole privacy issue with AI and how he felt about it for his customers, and how to go in to ChatGPT directly and turn off the switch so they're not using your data. And so I thought that was a really valuable piece of information. It's not very long. So I clipped that and put that up as just a video. And I want to do more stuff like that too. And I want to experiment more with shorts and just kind of play around with it more. But I'm really happy with keeping my YouTube account, my old YouTube account, just pivoting, basically. But there's really no one right or wrong answer. It's like, plenty of people will say, "Oh, just start a new YouTube." All right, so we're giving him some ideas. Good, Matthew. I'm glad we're able to help. We do this every Thursday, y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming. I really got to go because I got to do another chat in a little bit. I don't know what's the matter with my voice. It might be our weather. Hot, cold, hot, cold. I hate this time of year in Texas. It's constantly changing. And so I don't know what it's doing to me. Anyway, thank y'all so much for being here. I love having our little group of panelists that come hang out. We always have a great time here. And I always learn stuff from y'all.
I learn a lot every single week. In fact,
Same
I went in
here.
and I checked the ChatGPT setting after watching that video. So I'm here to learn just like everybody else. So thank you.
And I just want our viewers to know that because I make the on-screen with our panelists available for those who join our community over at school. Let me pull it up real quick for those that weren't here from the start. So we have a way for us to keep the conversation going throughout the week. It's a platform called School, SKOOL. So this is our. Let me find the little thing to put up. Now, why does StreamYard take? Wow, interesting. StreamYard is acting up because I did not pull that down. All I did was hit, and it worked fine earlier when I put, wow. There were a few little glitches on StreamYard today, I noticed. So interesting. But anyway, that's the link, school.com/Madalyn Sklar. But this is it. It's a private online community. It's free. It's a way for us to keep conversations going throughout the week that go beyond just this once a week live stream. So if anybody wants to come join us and be a part of the conversation. But I always learn from you all too. And I love doing this and love hearing from y'all. But if you join that community on School, then our members there have the opportunity to come on screen here. I don't like having the free for all. Like somebody's like, "Hey, I want to come jump on screen." It's like, we don't know you. You're not part of the community. Rather be people we know who you are. So if you're in the community at School or would like to join, go join School and then come hang out with us here if you would like. But the point, I realized I did a whole roundabout way to get to my point. My point was, I'm sorry, I'm like that. The point was, y'all don't have to know everything to come be on screen and be a guy. I just like to like show y'all stuff and say, because some people have said, yeah, but I don't really know any of this stuff and I don't think I want to be on screen. I'm like, that's fine. But it's not so much like you've got to contribute and share your expert opinion about each. It's like, no, I just like showing y'all cool stuff I came across and see what y'all think.
Yeah.
Whether you already know about it or not. Actually, I think it's better when you don't know about it, because then I can like hear your thoughts of like, you know, is it the same reaction I had when I first heard about it? Like gamma, you know, when I came across it, I'm like, holy cow, this is amazing. So I was just really eager to hear what y'all thought when I showed it to y'all. And that was really cool because y'all were all like, wow, this is a cool tool.
Yeah,
and it
I'm
reminds
thrilled.
me of- Sorry.
Honestly,
Go.
that could be something that you could add. I know we need to go, but that could be something when you do your Chat GPT, not for dummies, whatever you're calling it now.
Not for dummies. It
you
won't
could
be
go
that.
over, you could go over gamma, and you know, but I think I'd like to write on my Substack about it. So I'm really going to be playing with it a lot this week.
That's cool. Are you liking Substack? Because I see more and more people moving to Substack.
You know, I love it because I was never good about creating a newsletter when I was with MailChimp or MailerLite. But when I went over to Substack, I write every week now. I have a sponsor, and I simply asked if they wanted to pay, you know, like $50 a month for advertising. They said, sure. And that's really it. It's not super salesy or anything. And I'm not there. I offer paid tiers, but I have like over 5,000 subscribers. When I started 2 years ago, no, a year and a half ago, I had like 1,800. So
Wow.
yeah, so I've grown incredibly, and I get business that way.
That is wonderful. I just see more and more people moving to Substack, and they have that live stream feature. But I've heard people say it's not like, I guess if you're not techie, it's not easy to figure out how to do.
I haven't used it. I've just done more text-based with photos and stuff like that. But there are people who are live every day over there.
Yeah.
And it's usually, for most people, it's free. Some people do have paywalls, but I just figure, you know, my goal is not to make a lot of money on Substack. My goal is to make a lot of money doing what I do in my business, you know, so if it can get people over there, then awesome. That's great. Plus, it is indexed by Google, both when you post as well as notes, which is their social media feature. So I think for anybody looking to be more visible online, that is probably a good place to be.
That's good to know. And I know we can always pick your brain about Substack because you've been on there a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use MailChimp and Beehive, and they're fine and all, but I'm really thinking about Substack.
Yeah, I really like it. For some people, it's hard to get their mind around. Like I have a client tonight that we're going to be doing a kind of a walkthrough because he doesn't understand, how do I go from sending an email to people through a private company, even if he imports, which you can do, easily import all of your subscribers to Substack. It's a push of a button. But in his mind, he's like, do I have to write something separate for Substack, separate for MailChimp, separate on my blog? It starts to feel overwhelming. So yeah. So I understand why people are like,
yeah,
I don't need one more thing.
Right. Well, and that's just, I think, a constant struggle for all. It used to be the struggle for all of us in the social media and or digital marketing people. Like there's always something new. And with all the AI stuff, like every day, there's like 20 new AI tools, and it gets to be too much. But now for the average person, average business person, or even non-business person, it's overwhelming for everybody. There's just too many things. But the reason why I host this live stream each week is that I'm always trying to keep up with different things happening in social media, happening in AI. And I just like, it'd be really cool for me to just turn around and share things I'm coming across because others might like this too, or get some new ideas that'll help them in their business without overwhelming. You know?
Yeah. And I think just really quickly, a lot of authors are very anti-AI, and that's because they don't want it to be used for writing. And I understand that 100%. I'm not using it for that. I'm using it to repurpose my own content that exists already.
Right.
But also it's helping me. Like, I think anybody, it doesn't have to be a book. Anybody could say, okay, my book, my product, my service is launching in 3 months. Give me a timeline of to-dos with specific examples of how to do it. and it will come up with that for you. And I think anybody can benefit from that, just from the free version.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I
Great
mean,
advice.
it's helpful.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. And Cindy
Thank
Lou, all the
you.
way in New Zealand, where it's tomorrow morning, getting up
It is.
early for us.
And you
Yeah.
realize time change, it's an hour earlier for me. So now it's 6 a.m. here.
Oh my
No.
God.
I forgot. Y'all do. I know in Australia they do it a few weeks later. Is that the same in New Zealand? Like a few weeks
Oh
after us?
yeah. So it's now 1 hour earlier, which means when we go forward or back, because we're coming into fall, when
Spring
we
and
go
fall.
back at the beginning
Yeah.
of April, it's going to be another hour earlier. So it'll be 5 a.m. So
Oh
we'll
my
see
gosh.
how much I'll come on.
You don't.
Gosh.
Don't
You
feel like
poor
it's nice.
thing.
We love having you here, but do not feel like you have to. That is
It's
crazy
fun.
early. But we
It is
appreciate when you
early.
are able to come. It's always nice hearing your perspective on things.
Yeah, the
Absolutely.
alarm went off this morning at 5:50, and I'm like, oh.
That is too
Wow.
early. I
That
get
is
it.
too early. But thank you for doing. You're such a
So,
trooper, Cindy
and I
Lou.
have to say, I went to Chat GPT on my phone just to look at it. And I love that Barb was talking about she uses it for a search engine. Well, they figured that out because they now have the newest feature is that you can use the search
Yeah.
on your phone. Yeah. So you
That's
can,
a newer feature they added for the pro
yeah,
users recently, or the plus and pro users, but they have it available for everybody now.
yep.
And it's a great feature.
Yeah. So
These things are always improving. These tools get
just
better and better.
phone more this week. That's all.
Yeah, so that will be y'all's assignment since y'all said y'all weren't really using it much, and everybody tuning in. Go to ChatGPT. You can do it on the mobile app or on desktop. That advanced voice mode is so cool. I've showcased it here on the live stream. I'm pretty sure I have a clip of it on my YouTube as well. And it is so awesome to do. It is cool if you feel like you're talking to a person, but it's the AI. I use it for brainstorming. I really love it just to get ideas. I like doing it on my phone because I just feel like I'm on the phone with somebody, but you can do it on desktop. On the free version of ChatGPT, like I mentioned a few weeks ago, they announced that they're giving you more free. It used to be 10 minutes a month is all you got on the free account. That's why I had to sign up for the paid and do the plus plan, because I want to be able to do it more than 10 minutes a month. But on the free account, I think they said they're so weird with how they won't tell you exact. I think they said on the free, they 5x'd it. So what, 50 minutes a month? I don't know. And then on the unlimited, which I'm on the plus plan, I'm on the $20 a month plan. It says unlimited, but when you go read the fine print on their website, it says, well, I don't remember the wording, but technically it's not unlimited, but they don't tell you. And I know I showed that here on the live stream once when that advanced audio first came out. I remember finding that and I was like, well, this is weird. They don't tell you exactly on your unlimited how much you get. So crazy. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Thank you all so much for coming. I really do need to go. This is always a fun time. Thank you all for spending time hanging out with me. We do this every Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern for an hour, although today, almost an hour and a half, and I'm good with that. I'm all good. We'll be back next week. Who knows what we'll uncover between now and then. If anybody here ever comes across anything you want me to share or potentially share, just reach out to me. You can message me on X, Facebook, all social media. I'm easy to find. I have an unusual name, so I'm easy to find. You can just probably put my name in ChatGPT and find me. So, all right, y'all. See y'all next time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.